Are you primarily selling at art fairs but want to add some online income streams to your business? Well, in today's video, I'm answering a viewer question. This is from Shanna. She says, I'd love to hear more advice on layering in online revenue streams to existing in-person art business. We're pushing up against our limit for how many weekends there are in a year to sell, as well as struggling with the January-February slump. I'm hoping to add some relatively easy ways to leverage the in-person success we have had to supplement with online income. Not that I think online is easy, just needing something that I can realistically fit into the available time and energy left around a demanding travel and in-person selling schedule. Well, I gotta say, I'm right there with you. I do a lot of art fairs and I have had to, over the years, sell online to supplement my income because during January and February, there are a lot less art fairs to do around many parts of the country just because it's too cold for art fairs, and a lot of people have already had events in December. Because the shopping season is so big, customers are sometimes fatigued at going to in-person events after so many different fairs and festivals throughout the fall. And so because of that, figuring out a way to sell online is really important. One of the things that turned around my whole January and February is commissions. So I don't know what your art business specifically is, but if you are doing something where you can create custom pieces for customers, what I found is that a lot of people are contacting me in October, November, and December for these custom pieces because they want to give them as gifts. But oftentimes I fill up all of the spots that I have because there are a limited number of spots for my commissions because I'm just one person. I'm doing this all myself. And so obviously they're handmade. So maybe if I have 5 or 6 spots, that will be all I give out through the Christmas season. But I will always have more people than that will want the commissions. And so what I do is I keep a list of these people and I reach back out to them in January. And sometimes I will just tell them to go ahead and follow up with me in January. And if they want the commissions really badly, they will follow up and I don't even have to reach out to them. And if my schedule gets completely full off of the people that just reach out to me on their own, then sometimes I don't even follow up with the list of people that I couldn't do commissions for. And then later in the year, I will follow up with them if I have some free time. But often, like you, I don't have a lot of time during other parts of the year. And in fact, during the Christmas time, I don't often have a lot of time either, especially when I'm doing videos for my YouTube channel and everything. It's just a lot to juggle. But if you are trying to get a little extra income, adding commissions is great because you can even sell them at the in-person events depending on what type of artwork you're doing. I personally can't do this because I have to base my work off of photo references, and often customers don't really have those ready for me to review at the event, and it takes a lot of extra time away from selling to sell commissions. So there's definitely positives and negatives to selling commissions at the events, but I do know some artists who are very successful at this. For example, if they do a show in the fall and the spring, what they will do is they will take commissions in the spring and then do them over the summer and then deliver them to the customers in person at that same event in the fall. So if you have events like that you're doing 2 different times a year, you can get the commissions at one event and then deliver them at the next one. But this would give you extra income beyond that one particular art fair that you're showing up to sell at. Another quick win is your email list. You can get lots of people to sign up to your email list while you're at the art fairs. The great thing about this is these are targeted buyers. These are people who are interested in purchasing your work. And so it will help you sell to them because it's like a perfect match for your artwork because they were in your art booth talking with you in person prior to signing up. Now, there's some positives and negatives about having people sign up to your newsletter during the show. For one, if they're signing up to your newsletter, they're not necessarily buying at the time. And if you have a lot of people coming in and out of your booth, you need to be selling to all these customers the whole time, not just getting emails. And so you can do a couple things to streamline the process. And one is having a QR code attached to the front of your counter where people are checking out. That way they can sign up by just pointing their phone at the QR code, that it will take them to the page on your website with your newsletter sign up form. Another thing that you can do if you want to do this like completely old school is just have a clipboard there and people can write their email address in when they are checking out, or just have it on a table at the side of your art booth so that they can do that on their own. But those are some ways to collect emails from in-person events. And the great thing about this is that if you follow up with these customers later, like with a coupon code, and you send them to your website or wherever that you're selling your work online, oftentimes these people will want to buy, especially if they're getting a good discount. Customers love being able to get something that they saw in your art booth, but either didn't have time, money, or the space for, but then later on, they're able to get this. And so having a way to contact those customers that you found at in-person events can be really beneficial to your bottom line. Next, it's important to have a place to sell your work online. So a website is a really good idea, but you don't have to necessarily sell on a website exclusively. You could decide, instead of having your own website, to just start an Etsy shop or sell on some other platform. But the main thing is you want to have at least one place that these customers you're signing up to your email list can go to purchase online. One of the mistakes that I commonly see art fair artists do who don't have an online presence currently is they start something like a Facebook page and they don't have a Facebook shop or anything else set up, but they expect for customers to just buy stuff through their Facebook page by messaging them, and then the customer will have to somehow submit payment, even though there's not a very easy way to do that because they don't have a payment system set up anywhere or a shopping cart to be able to have people check out. And so make sure that you have some very easy way for customers to purchase your work online. Don't expect them to reach out to you via some social media network or email and try to figure out how to arrange purchasing, because most often customers are not going to go through all that trouble. Customers want their purchases to be really easy and streamlined. They don't want to have to go through a whole bunch of steps to make it happen. Personally, I've had a lot of success channeling the people that I meet at art fairs onto my website to purchase. Now, I do this by using email lists, of course, but also social media, because some customers do not want to sign up to another email list. I mean, we all have so many of them coming into our inbox. So there are a portion of customers that just feel more comfortable with following you on social media. And that's why it's really important to, alongside an email, have at least one social media network that you are on there regularly posting. It's better to have several, but if you don't have time for several, because I know if you are busy doing art fairs and trying to juggle all of this, setting up the e-commerce sites, it might be difficult to figure out how to do a whole lot of social media networks at the same time. But just pick one, even if it's Facebook or Instagram, somewhere that people can follow you. So that way you can keep in contact with all of your customers, even if they don't want to sign up to your email newsletter. I've also found a lot of success with setting up my website through Shopify. And there are a whole bunch of different places that you could set up a website that are very easy to do. You don't have to hire a web designer or anything like that. You don't have to spend tons of money on your website. You just need something that's going to work well. But Shopify, it is a little bit more costly compared to some of the other options. It costs around $29 a month to keep it going. But most of the time, you don't have to do anything to it when it comes to like hackers or security or any of that. And so I think it's really worth it. I mean, it's always compatible with the newest browser updates. So you don't have to do a lot of work on the maintenance side of it once you get your website set up through Shopify. But what I love about it most is that there are apps that you can add on to Shopify, and most of these are free. Some have a very low monthly cost to be able to use them. But you can add the apps to extend Shopify to be able to push your products to Etsy, eBay, Amazon Handmade, pretty much everywhere that you want to sell. And then all of the products, when you make sales, they show up in the dashboard through Shopify. So it's all integrated, it's all there in one place. This will save you so much time if you're juggling your art fairs and trying to sell at all these different marketplaces, because selling on marketplaces can be great. I mean, it gets you more eyes on the artwork that you have for sale, especially if you do good SEO on the different marketplaces in your listings. You can get a lot of exposure this way. But the downside is that it takes a whole lot of time to manage it all, especially if you're listing on all of them separately. You're going to have to list a product like on your website, and then separately on Etsy, and then separately on eBay. And man, I mean, that just takes too much time. But if you integrate everything with these apps through Shopify, you can automatically push your products out. So you just upload them on your Shopify store, and then they go everywhere else automatically. So this will get you a lot more exposure for a lot less effort. Another thing you can do if you're short on time is use a company like Printful, a print-on-demand company, to make some products for you to be able to sell on your website and all of the marketplaces, because this will make it a lot easier. I mean, you can have Printful make the product and ship the product for you. So if you're out on the road, you won't have to worry about doing any of that. But the downside to doing this is that there is a lot of setup on the front end to get your products programmed, like designed correctly in the Printful system or Printify, whatever print-on-demand company that you're using. I like Printful myself. I have a lot of experience with using them. But like I said, there is a little bit of a downside because of the amount of time it takes to set up the products, and you have to add all of those listings to your website and potentially the different art marketplaces, unless you're using Shopify to just automatically push those products out everywhere. And so this can take some time, and especially if you are waiting on each product that you design to get a sample in to make sure that it turned out good before you sell it to your customers. And that's what I do. I don't like to sell things that I haven't actually seen first, because, well, I've learned this just from using these companies. Sometimes it will look really good. They're mock-ups, but then what they send you, the colors will be all washed out. Just something's not quite right. And then with just a simple adjustment to my image files that I submit to them, I can make the product look like something that really I'm proud of and my customers will love. And so I want to make sure that if a person buys something off my website or Etsy, wherever, if they buy something from me, that it's going to be really, really good. I don't want to sell them something that's shoddy and bad. So that's why I always get the samples, but all of that takes extra time. And so that's why you have to know that going into the print-on-demand game. Like if you're going to use print-on-demand companies, they can save you time in the long run, but on the front end, it will take some work. Next is a strategy that I use to leverage all of the evergreen posts that I've made from social media. These are posts that could show up at any time. They're not specific to, let's say, May 1st, there is this art fair. That would not be an evergreen post, but an evergreen post would be like, I had fun painting this fox back here, and some details of me painting the fox, maybe a big reveal of the painting in the end and saying, hey, it's available for purchase, or prints of it are available for purchase on my website. Something like that would be a great piece of evergreen content. What I do is I leverage those by using an app to push them out to all of the different social media networks. And I do this repeatedly. So I set up 30 of them, and then every 30 days it just repeats and it sends them out time and time again. This way I'm getting a lot of posts where I don't have to do anything for them. You can set up posts on your social media network for newsletters, all sorts of things like this. And if you want the details on exactly how to do this, check out this video. I go over it all in detail. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.